everyone. I'm Vladimir Tejeda here for CertiK. I am the Director of Social Marketing here at CertiK. Our guest today on our Discord AMA is Metalswap, and we have our two guests here. Can you please introduce yourselves? I don't want to butcher any names right now, you know? I get butchered all the time.
Hi Vladimir, hi everyone. I'm Tiziano Tritico, the co-founder of the project Metalswap.
Hi Vladimir, and hi everyone. I am Marco Braglia, and I'm the project manager of Metalswap.
Nice, awesome, guys. Well, we can start off with like a quick question of what exactly goes into Metalswap for your positions there, right? What's your day-to-day like normally? What do you handle?
My point of view is the strategic point of view. So I have the global visualization of the project, and so the coordination of all the team and different aspects we have to cover. So from the technical point of view to the marketing and the security point of view, the organization of the project. More than the idea behind everything was developed till now and what we'll do. And maybe we will have time to talk about the future also in this talk.
Yeah, and basically I am the project manager, so I am in charge of the timeline, the roadmap of the project. Let's say that I'm the one responsible for putting the strings together, and I'm also in charge of all the cloud infrastructure of the Metalswap project.
Awesome. Well, thank you for letting us know that. Now, those who don't know, what is Metalswap? And what are you guys creating over there?
Okay. Metalswap basically is a platform, is a decentralized platform that enables the end users to hedge against the risk of price volatility of commodities. So basically, our users can go on our decentralized application and cover. Let's think of it like an insurance tool against the price movement of assets. That's basically our headline, our main story.
Fix the prices of your digital assets.
Yeah, this is our core feature. So hedging swaps in DeFi. So our main goal is to bring to the DeFi ecosystem one of the most used in the business, in the B2B world, in the financial sector, that are the hedging swaps and the hedging tools against the price risk of commodities.
Got it. Now, like what do you feel is the main draw to get that B2B business onto your platform? Like how do, those users just flock to it? Like what's the incentive for that?
Well, to answer to that, we can think about the idea behind the project. So, starting from the point that it's something that was not invented yet. So, in the decentralized finance, we only saw options and futures for digital assets. So, mainly assets native in the sector. So, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and whatever. But we wanted to target also commodities, and the main market and the main derivative for the commodities in the traditional markets are the hedging swap services and hedging swap solutions. Is one of the biggest market in general for volumes in the world. And of course, we wanted to go there. We want to go there, and we wanted to start with something working. The easiest way to reach that point was starting with native coins and native commodities of the crypto world. In our vision, Ethereum Ether is the gas of the virtual machine and the ecosystem around Ethereum. And Bitcoin could be the gold of the system. We wanted to try our service, and we wanted to show that it works using these commodities. With Bitcoin, we are using wrapped BTC running on Ethereum. And starting from that, we would like to insert more synthetic assets or assets related to the physical commodities so that once we have the use cases or the showcase, we could go and talk with not only big companies but also small companies, because the point is that at the moment the persons or the companies using this kind of instruments are only big companies, and there are only 3 or 4 big markets for that. I'm referring to CME, LME, or the equivalent in Asia of that markets, of those markets. And there is nothing you can use to hedge your position if you are a small business or a small entrepreneur. And so in this way, with the decentralized finance and the access you can have to such as an instrument or a service only with your MetaMask, you could actually use the service without asking the permissions to anyone. And so any small business could do that. The difficult part, of course, will be to onboard who never used a MetaMask wallet or something like this, something different, and something we are working on with different funnels. We're studying funnels for small businesses, for retails, of course, because we wanted to start with the retails to try and to showcase the model, and then go forward with a bigger usage.
And now I just want to point out that that will be our biggest challenge in the future, to bring those big players and to let them let them overcome the entry barriers on the DeFi world. They are used to ask permission to do something to the banks, ask permission to their centralized centralized intermediaries. And so the biggest challenge would be to bring those users, those end user, to the technology, to the DeFi technology, to the DeFi world.
I want to take a quick step back because I was trying to understand the whole commodities thing just a bit more. So are you saying actual commodities that the general world is used to use as a sort of backing? Or do I have that a little mistaken?
This is a good question. So the point is that Metalswap is something creating the solution with smart contracts to operate with the hedging swaps, but not something creating the assets. For example, if we operate like now we do, opening positions on Ether or Wrap BTC, it doesn't mean that we have to issue Wrap Bitcoin or issue USDT, that is the stablecoin used to hedge. We would like to insert other commodities or other digital assets, and we are trying to use the more sustainable assets we can find in this world. The point is to cooperate, because in my vision the DeFi ecosystem is something like Lego, where if there is a block already built, you can use that block in your system, and our block is to permit the opening of hedging positions, then inserting a token that has already is market, for example gold. And the next one will be gold, and this is a spoiler maybe for later, but will be taken using an existing token. I cannot tell more in this moment which one, but we can do that because there are tokens synthesizing or with a backed position of gold, of real gold. It's not something we want to do. We don't want to stock commodities in our system. It's completely digital, of course, but using tokens that are already doing that.
And that your actual token is called XMT, correct? Could you tell us a bit more about, I suppose, like, because the token itself.
Yeah, the token is simply, we can say, a governance token. So it's used to get the access to the governance of the DAO, the decentralized autonomous organization around the project. The project is only 1 year old, and not yet 1 year old, so the token is not yet 1 year old. We are approaching the anniversary next week, actually. And at the moment is like every starting project centralized in the treasury of the DeFi foundation, the foundation behind the project, the Switzerland Foundation, where I am one of the boarding member. And the idea is to release the token slowly with a meritocratic system. So who uses the swap, who opens the positions, receive also a liquidity reward. This liquidity reward is in XMT. Why you receive that? Because you used the service, you know maybe how to use it, or you are learning how to use it. And in this way, the owners of the token are the people proposing and voting for the next steps, and are also the people that who know that knows how the system works. This is the idea, and going in the direction of a decentralized governance. This is a process in my vision. It's not something you can reach or obtain in only 1 year or even less. And the distribution, it's interesting because the system itself, of course, is based on a commission. When you open a position, you pay the premium, like in every derivative system, and the premium is used for its 80% to buy back the token on the market and pool these tokens as a reward for the opening of the new openings of the positions, the new positions. This is a system, so everything should be sustainable in the future, because the tokens are limited. There is a 2 billion supply, maximal supply, and the distribution will be slow and mostly meritocratic.
At the beginning, you had mentioned that primarily you were B2B, but how do you onboard the users? Like, what's the roadway for that?
Yeah,
That's a big question.
Marco, do you want to say?
Yeah, as we were saying previously, we started with the simple quoted crypto asset. So our hedging swaps platform is now available on WBTC and Ethereum, and will soon be available with the one new asset. But from this point to onboarding the B2B, we have to take several steps, and we have a dedicated department in our team, which is in charge of that piece of the cake. We will need like a funneling tool, gateway, custody services. We need a lot of stuff, and we have a dedicated department. That will be a huge step, and will not happen in the next weeks. Okay, it will happen in the next months.
The point is that
we had to start previously with the retail users.
Yeah, because as I was saying, you cannot go to a big company or even a small company only telling what you want to do. You have to show them something that they can already use. And till now, we built the basic system that works, and now we want to start to show this system and onboarding these companies or kind of business activities. Maybe in some cases we have also to introduce these persons or these entities to the crypto world, to the system we are using with custodies, wallets. We are thinking about MetaMask institutional or business. I don't remember now the name, but this kind of funnel, and we want to dedicate, as Marco said, a different department to do that, because now me and Marco mainly are focused on the DeFi and crypto and smart contract part of the system. That one is more business oriented and very important. But if you don't have the product, you cannot show anything.
Yeah, we launched on mainnet on the September the 1st, so it's
I was going
just
to ask you about that, actually.
it's just a little bit over 2 months. So we are very young on mainnet. So now we have a tool that is working, and we can go and put on running this process of onboarding the B2B.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your mainnet in September because I know that you guys also have your swap competition going on.
Yeah.
Could you please explain how that works for us?
Yeah, we can do that shortly. I mean, as we said, we launched on mainnet on September the 1st after the CertiK auditing process, I have to say, because the security was always the first thing in our shortlist. And
Plug for CertiK. Get your audits with CertiK. That's how you know we're the real deal. Sorry, keep going.
And so the swap completion is something we thought to encourage the users to use the platform, because we had I think 3 rounds of testnet before the mainnet. Thanks to these rounds, we improved a lot. Either the UX UI of the tools, and also the smart contracts and the functionality of the tools. And after that, we had a lot of participation, really a huge number of users in the testnet. But then we wanted to encourage this same user that already knew the tools to use the tool on the mainnet. So we have this running swap competition. Is a monthly competition running from, it started on the September the 13th, I think, and it's running every 13th of the month. And we have $7,000 in prizes to distribute among the first 30 users on the swaps. And we are measuring the profit the users are making in percentage. So no matter the size of the swap, no matter how money do you have, it's not you win if you are bigger than the others, but you win if you are better than the other to hedge and to profit from the platform.
So you take it after the percentile?
We calculate we have a dedicated medium on that. I don't think can we put a link somewhere in the chat? Maybe not.
Yeah, sure. You can put it up in the stage live chat.
There is the stage live chat. I don't see that. However, I will look for it. We have a dedicated medium that explains how this competition, this chart is calculated. But we are measuring the profit against the cover that you put to cover your position. So it's 100% meritocratic. And there is a price for the single best swap of the month, and 30 prizes for the sum of the profits of one address.
Another question. So are there any new features upcoming that you might not have brought up? Maybe a little insight for the people who are interested in getting into your project?
A lot of that. I will leave the floor to Tiziano for this question.
Yes, actually, it's a very hot topic, this one, because in these days we are doing a lot of meetings and a lot of discussions about the future. Because now, as I said, we're approaching to the first year of life of our token, and so we want to do kind of a small live event online, and then also reveal the new phases. So today we do some anticipation of that, but just a small part. Otherwise, I will reveal too much for the next week, before the next week. So now the things I can say are related to the new asset we are introducing, because I already said that there will be the possibility to open swaps for gold positions. So the new asset we are introducing is the gold, and already with this one we will be able to go to a lot of businesses, and we are thinking about initially small business to show how the system works and how you can protect against the volatility of one of the best assets from this point of view, because the volatility of the gold is lower than any other thing in the world. But anyway, if you have gold, maybe you are doing that because you want to protect your wealth, and so you don't want to lose any appreciation of your commodity. And so this will be the first case. In this case, this is a particular technical part of the thing. We can also set the commissions, the fees in the system very low, because the volatility, the implied volatility of the asset is very low. And so these are interesting features we will see very shortly. And so also the name Metalswap will become more appropriate with a real metal asset. And next, we will reveal a new landing page, because the landing page we have now, if you go to metalswap.finance, is a very first version of the web page when we launched. And so it's almost 1 year old, and we have a completely restyled new one. And with that, there will be also new restyling for the decentralized app. So the web app will be restyled, a soft restyle, but there is something new from this point of view. And we want to open the system with the swaps to the other two chains we have. Now, I'm already telling too much, but there will be new solutions on BNB chain, always AVM compatible, and as well as Polygon. We are working on new solutions with the NFT system, because we already have a very interesting feature related to NFTs on Polygon. Actually, we are taking the liquidity providing positions on Uniswap V3. They are NFTs, and we in Metaswap on the Polygon chain, you are able to stake that positions to gain XMT and Matic. In our web application is something that I personally never saw in other systems, and we want to apply to add new features around the chain Polygon and the system of the NFTs. There is also an artistic collection we are launching, but always related to the utility of the NFT, not just to launch something artistic. So there will be a system with profile pictures, NFTs, but always representing the real power you have in the governance, something we will see especially the next year. So now we are approaching also the end of the year. So 2023 is full of new features. We are planning the roadmap right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you for a timeline on some of these things, but you already beat me to the punch on that one.
No, but something will come very shortly. The big feature regarding the new DAO and the new system for the DAO is something we have to be very careful. And this is the place where I can talk about security. Of course, there will be audits around that and everything, because the governance is the main core of everything. So a part of the swaps. But for what we already had audited on Ethereum and we can reproduce on other chain is something we can do very fast and in weeks, I can say.
Okay. Now, this one might come off a little from left field. With the state of everything going on this past week, what are you doing to ensure that your user base and obviously that your project is taken care of, to make sure that no issues come up? And if you have any thoughts about what's going on currently.
Marco, security, what we are taking.
Yeah, I was still counting the spoiler alerts we made. So
yeah.
I hope our communication department won't beat us.
There were few details about that. So.
That just means that you're for the people. You gotta making sure that they're informed. Hopefully, we don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, like with the current state of affairs going on, I don't know, like how are you ensuring that your project is taken care of and the users themselves, can feel good about working with
Yeah,
you?
I would like to. I would like to add one thing to the reply of Tiziana about the features, because there is a feature that, or it's already there in the decentralized application, that are the liquidity pools, which are part of the core feature of the swaps. So the swaps are possible to open only if the liquidity pools provide the coverage for that, and at this time, the DeFi Foundation decided to don't incentivize too much the liquidity providing of swaps, exactly for protecting the users, because it's the first months of our project, so we don't want users to put too much money in the liquidity pools. But the features is already there, and as soon as the DeFi Foundation wants and decides to incentivize this feature, all the users could provide asset, and we're talking about WBTC, Ethereum, and the gold asset, which will come shortly on our decentralized application. They can provide those assets in the liquidity pool and receive rewards for that. That's not something you can find everywhere in the DeFi world.
Yeah,
You will be able to put gold and put gold in the liquidity pool and receive the rewards for that.
this is very important. Thanks, Marco, because actually talking about security and what it's happening around us in this moment, the difference in DeFi, of course, DeFi is dangerous and it's riskful when you write bad code. And this is why we wanted everything double checked. And this is why we are here talking with you as CertiK. But more than that, there is also the economic point of view. So if we did something not sustainable from the economic point of view, that is something that it's very, very hard to check, because sometimes there is games theory and a lot of stuff very difficult to check until something bad happens. We saw that in Terra Luna's ecosystem. We saw that in different ecosystems. And when you talk about CeFi, of course, maybe you feel maybe safer, but now we are seeing what is happening when you cannot look into some pools, when you cannot know how much there is, how much money they really have. In this case, as Marco said, the liquidity pools are contracts, so you can see the money inside. If there are no money to open the swaps cannot be opened, cannot be sustainable.
Yeah, that's a core feature. As we are doing so many new things that we forgot the features that we already have. And yeah, that was a cross-topic answer, because we talked about the feature and we talked also about security. But security-wise, as we already mentioned, we waited to release the core features in mainnet. We waited for the audit process to finish. So we have been, at least the smart contracts behind the core features, so the swaps, the liquidity pools, the liquidity providing, are completely certified by CertiK, of course. So we had 2 audit sessions, and one audit session is already finished and public on the CertiK public page, and it's the one regarding the swap core features. And we have another audit process for the, let's say, secondary smart contract, which is still going on, still in process. That's because, as Tiziano was mentioning, the security is indeed a priority for us. Don't forget that we are talking about one of the biggest market in the centralized finance, which are the hedging tools, the hedging instruments, the insurance instruments. If we want to move even only 1% of the real market in the centralized sector in the DeFi, that will be a lot of money. in the system, and we want to be 150% sure that that money is safe.
Yeah, and mention also the bug bounty program we want to start.
Yeah, we will start shortly. We are in contact with Immunify, is I think the leader of the market in the white hat hackers sector. So we will soon start a rewarded bug bounty program after the CertiK process, after the certification process. So security is always on the top place of our list.
Security should always be a number one priority for these projects. I don't think people realize that sometimes. They just think, oh, we got an audit and they keep it moving. So I like that you guys are thinking of a whole entire holistic way of protecting and ensuring that users, whether they're, B2C or B2B alike, can make sure that they can trust you, right? And that's always great to see.
Yeah. That wasn't easy to keep the community calm, waiting for the release of the core feature. It wasn't easy at all, but we did it because security took precedence.
Wait, you guys can keep a community calm? I didn't know that was possible in any sort of way. Usually the community is the most vocal, whether you do right or wrong. Like, hey, what's going on with this?
Okay, I will rephrase. It wasn't easy to try to keep the community calm.
Because you might be the first one if that's the case. Everyone has to learn the secret of how to keep the community calm, right? Now, another question I kind of had is like, what do you see the future of this space? Web3, DeFi. I feel that evolution of everything that we're doing in this world is like hyperspeed, right? And that some people who are not necessarily in this space at all don't quite understand the speed of which things are moving right now, right? And the just the adaptability and the everyday changes, the progression of Web3, DeFi, and all that. So how do you see this sort of playing out in the next couple of years?
Well, I think the velocity, as you say, it is very it's increasing. It's even increasing. So we are focused on what is happening in the future, and we are trying to speed up the process because of that, and also mainly sometimes being dynamic for this reason. So dynamic is a word I want to use because the NFT use cases we will introduce in our system will be propedeutic to what we want to do using the new Web3 solutions that are coming. For example, the announcements that big companies like Meta did in these last 2 years mainly are showing us where we are going, and it's not only Meta or Twitter or other Reddit or other systems, but it's obvious that Web3 will be the next evolution of the actual interconnections, and you cannot avoid to work in that direction. From my point of view, everything will be oriented to keep our data to be able to decide when giving your data or not. This is the main point of what the centralization should reach. Is not only okay, we can speculate on how much Ether will be valued in some years. This is a superficial discussion. What we will see is the real ownership of the data we have, and not only in economic or financial systems, but also our ID, our privacy, basically. And so we will be able to decide if we want to stay private or anonymous. We can decide if we want to give our data, our access, even our tokens or our money to a system that we somehow trust or not. This is a big step because now we are used to interact everywhere with solution, a centralized solution that anyway takes our data. Here on Discord, to speak, you have to give your email, at least your password, some sensible data. With a Web3 wallet, maybe you can connect, you can use the service, and you can leave, and you don't leave there anything of your data. And this kind of solutions, so also the financial solutions, will have this system, will have these possibilities. And with NFTs, maybe representing your financial position or your health position or your identity, you can enter with that. It's in your wallet, and you can go away with everything you had before. But meanwhile, you are using the information you have in the specific service where you want to go. This is the future I see, and not in, I don't know, 10 years, but maybe 5. In 5 years, the main structures we have now on the internet, on the web, will be oriented to this new evolution. And this will be a real evolution this time, not only a speculation or something related to the niche of this world, because we are still far from the mass adoption, and the mass adoption will come with this kind of solutions. And I'm not mentioning the gaming solution, for example, all the metaverses we will see and everything. For this, maybe we need a bit more, so maybe 10 years in that case. But we are there, we are going there very, very fast.
Marco, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add on top of that. If not, no worries.
Well, Tiziano already said a lot, but I can add that what I see is a usage of the Web3 technology in a more institutional way. So more businesses onboarding on that. That's just the thing I want to add.
Thank you. And before we wrap up, I just wanted to kind of get your take. Is there anything that you want to say to the audience and anyone who will potentially listen afterwards in terms of why Metalswap is important or why they should look into it more? And any closing remarks that you might have just in general about the space itself.
I would like to add that first of all, this project can be interesting because it's the first example of this kind. So you cannot find other hedging swap solutions. Maybe the name of the project is associated to something different. So when you read Metalswap, maybe you think about a fork of Uniswap. I don't know, something like this. Instead, it's a service oriented to protect your position and, as we said, to fix the price of your digital asset in a specific date. And this is something you cannot find in the system, in the ecosystem. There is something similar but different with options, and still there is too few in my point of view, because this is a very inefficient market in general. And when the market is inefficient, it means that there is a lot of space to build and to develop new solutions, and Metalswap is one of these. More than that, I think the future will be interconnected. So we already operate on three chains. These are AVM compatible, so Ethereum, Polygon, and BNB chain. If I can say something, the difficult part is still the bridges between the bridging part between one and the other chain. This is maybe the main focus for the security in this moment. In general of the system, when you bridge an asset, a token, or a coin to one chain to another, we are still very early and very unsafe, if I can say. And the important is that we know that.
Yeah, that's the weak link of all the chain.
Yeah, it's not a Metalswap problem, it's ecosystemic problem I see. I don't know if you agree, Vladimir or Michel, from this point of view.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, lots of hacks happen within bridges lately. So
Yeah,
yeah, there's definitely a weak link.
I mean they're there for a specific utility. You would hope that it would, be easier to interconnect, but if that is a source of, hacking and exploits, and it needs to be reconsidered in some sort of way to ensure that we don't have these episodes, right? Having those episodes, it's just not good for anyone. When, generally we like to think that everyone is good and everyone likes to interact and everyone wants to, make a whatever better project or better life for themselves. But then when you have these intersections where, people can exploit them, it kind of, it keeps people at bay, right? Who could potentially come in and sort of help push the space forward. You kind of start getting a little hesitant about it, right? Especially when the big numbers start coming out, and then people who are not involved in the space start asking the questions of, well, I saw 100 million was hacked over there. That stuff is messed up, and then it's the conversations you don't want to have, right?
Yeah,
Especially as you're
exactly.
trying to push forward and not go backward, right? So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
Thank you.
I think
well,
it's
guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, yeah. I just wanted to add that it's very important at this point because if you want to onboard, as Marco said, and you asked the business part of the system, of course, you have to be trustable in somehow, and from the technological point of view, not from the wording point of view. So I can say we are safe, but you should be able to check that we are safe.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate your time. I learned a lot here, definitely, and I hope our audience learned a lot too. We'll make sure we'll get this podcast out on our Twitter and YouTube as well. So please be on the lookout for that. Everyone, please follow Metalswap. Check out their webpage, and please follow us on CertiK as well on Discord, Twitter. We have our Telegram. Follow everyone here. But for the most part, we hope to continue to bring you some of these great conversations with these projects so we can all learn more, do our own due diligence. Please visit CertiK.com, where you can learn about them and about, any other projects that you're quite interested in. So guys, thank you again. It's been a great pleasure talking with you.
Okay. Thank you very much for
Bye.
joining. Have a
Bye.
great one.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.